Hello, Anomaly here, and welcome to another Mistweaver Commentary video. I used to do these probably about 2 or 3 years ago, just to kind of talk about my play and how I did. So, I thought I'd bring them back, particularly for the end of Eternal Palace, and then moving forward, we'll do these kind of on potentially the regular. People enjoy them. We'll start with just boss fights. Maybe we'll do Mythic Plus a little longer. Commentate. Maybe we'll kind of speed up the middle parts, just talk about bosses, but. In any event, let's not wait and let's get started. So today we're talking about Mythic Queen's Court, which is the 6th boss in the instance. Probably one of my more enjoyable fights just because it's very much a, hit your timings don't change, and hit your buttons when you're supposed to, and you win, you kind of make incremental progress. Hit a part you lose, you kind of wait to, make some changes, get through that part, things like that. So without further ado, let's jump in and look at how well or not well I played. So start of the fight, everybody is on Silivaz. I am the only monk in the instance tonight, or in the raid today, so I'll have to debuff both mobs, but we generally send all of our melee onto Silivaz at the start. And really all of our DPS is on this guy to the start to get him under 35% as soon as possible. So kind of basically spend as much time on him. I'll get the debuff on the second mob in a while. So first like 20-30 seconds are spent generally just DPSing. The spark comes up, so I'll shift some of my damage into the spark, but for the most part, DPSing for pretty much everything up until this form rank. So get really good essence bond value here. You can move after the form ranks goes off, you can move over to soak the charge and then basically hit your essence font, spread it out. You also pretty much slam refreshing Jadewind on cooldown a little bit here early, just because it is pretty good value. We had some really solid cooldowns overlap for this first set, so it was a lot easier. But yeah, generally damage, particularly from sparks, is where you'll use your cooldowns, so you'll have cooldowns up for pretty much every one of them. The only real dangerous part is the off tank or the tank not in the bubble. You need to keep an eye on him. If it was our warrior, normally the warrior was pretty much fine, no big issues. If it was our druid, potentially did need some help there. So here, just moving out to take a charge, hit an essence font. Should have hit a refreshing jade when I was standing there, but it is spells only once. I did get silenced early, so just kind of keep an eye on that here. Don't want to pop Manatee during this phase. You want to save it to somewhere else, right? So going to the next decree, it's like the spread out one, stand alone. There's not too much to heal here. Like your tank's going to take some damage. Druid didn't get it out far enough, so I had to move, wasting pretty much all of that enveloping mist. But tank's going to take some damage. Generally, what I do is I like to position myself for the next set of sparks, which is going to spawn on the purple icon. So one thing to note there, and I think we were quick about it, but we use for that charge, we use all of our void stones and some like externals, pain suppression, sack, that someone can solo that charge. But yeah, here in this phase, this is deferred sentence, but just make sure you're moving at 3. This is where kind of I use revival. I use a lot of my defensives here. You say just popped Fort Brew. I'll also use seeds at this point. I was running seeds as my major. So yeah, this is really deferred is where you kind of can and will take the most damage. So, and then from there, you come into the avoid damage or the healing debuff piece. So here, really big thing to note, I save my life cocoon specifically for this moment. As soon as the tank, while he's outside, the off tank, while he's outside the bubble, gets the healing debuff, life cocoon them immediately. A lot of times we were good on DPS that lined up with a spark explosion. But yeah, that's really the most dangerous part. I don't know if I ran it on this pull, but I generally ran Life Cocoon and Voidstone to hit basically 2 of the healing debuffs. Generally the one that overlapped the spark hit with Life Cocoon, and then the one that did not overlap with the spark hit with just a Voidstone. So just so I could top it a little bit easier. From there, we kind of go into this just quick phase of a little bit of damage from the form ranks. Generally, you're gonna, refreshing Jadewind, Essence Fawn over it. You're not really gonna need cooldowns. There's plenty of time between each explosion to kind of heal up that damage. So I will say from a drinks perspective, I think I was a little bit high on mana, which is why I didn't drink here. But this would be the set of sparks. This is the 3rd set of sparks in the instance. The second time you go around in the circle when you hit the spells once piece. I like to drink here just because there's not a ton of damage going out. and generally you'll have cooldowns over some of these spark explosions. So I would say that is the best piece or best part to drink at if you guys have it. So from there, again, this is standalone, something we kind of do pretty well at. I hit Refreshing Jade one there for a reason. I don't know what that reason was because we're all spread out, but that was a misplay. But yeah, this is where you're just gonna, every spark explosion hit Essence Font, heal folks up, catching, but just really watch your tanks because the only damage going out should be the spark explosions. And here with this deferred, a little sketchy. The bubble comes up while standalone is still active, so just make sure you kind of give yourself some space. You're not standing on top of each other. So now we get into deferred. There's no sparks here, so it's just deferred damage. But as you can see, our raid loves to like move around, things like that. So it's rough. I inadvertently procced my staff here. I would say that, I mean, if you want to be like really min-maxy or really want to kind of sit and stand and heal people, you can let your stacks run up to like probably 6, 7, pop, diffuse magic, and then move, or pop diffuse right before the end, and then you'll be fine. So here, this transition is probably the sketchiest. The tanks get very, very low, so make sure you have Life Cocoon up. Make sure you have a Void Stone up. You can hit them when they do that healing debuff on them, or the absorb healing debuff, and you should be your rate should be pretty fine. So here, just a standard soak, whole raid soaks, which is great. And it's just waiting for that debuff to drop off, and then I hit Essence Font to heal everybody up. So as you can see, if I would have drank a little bit earlier, I would have been better on mana, would not have put the staff on cooldown, would have the staff ready up at the end. That was one kind of issue we had, but for the most part, not too bad from a damage perspective. So here, just kind of spark explosion, standing your cooldowns. I have very little mana, so I'm kind of being pretty tight with what I do cast. So trying to use like kind of the most efficient stuff, and Essence Font here, things like that. So try not to take too much damage. But what I end up doing, I noticed that our warrior is out for this shield. So what I end up doing is drinking through this shield. I kind of call it, I do call it on Discord, just so folks that are aware that I'm drinking. But the idea there, tank at shield wall was plenty safe with cooldowns and things like that. So I ended up giving myself silence. I guess I'd casted a rem right before sitting to drink. So yeah, and from here on out, there's one more set of sparks that you're kind of spread for, that you'll use cooldowns for, but it's really the only damage going out because you have standalone. So it's pretty simple. We sack this charge just to not get folks low, going into sparks, and then we kind of take it from there. So yeah, at this point it's just kind of making sure the sparks don't all die at the same time. And DP keeping the bosses pretty even. Kashmir is a little high, but we kind of even them out here in a second as these sparks go off. You will not have cooldowns up, but just watch, folks. Make sure nobody dies inadvertently to things that could be avoidable. You'll have a Life Cocoon up. Just kind of use as much of your mana as you can. Going into this deferred, you don't really have to move for it at all, so kind of stay still. The boss is in rage at the end of it, so unless you get charged, just kind of stand still. Finish off DPSing, and eventually the bosses die. So that was kind of Queen's Court. As you can see, it's pretty much a standard like use your cooldowns when you need to. There's a couple of sketchy parts, particularly when you get deferred. I think deferred was where we lost the most people. It makes sure folks are only moving at 3. They're not moving constantly, and they are moving at 3. Like we lost a lot of tanks and things like that to just high deferred stacks. The other thing we lose people to is that as the decree ended, deferred stacks automatically end too. So people are like, oh, I moved once, it's going to end before the stack's up too high. The problem is you'll take those 3-4 stacks right at the end. So going into the healing debuff, it's always tough. But yeah, other than that, that was kind of my quick commentary on our kill. Let me know how you guys think, or what you guys think of these. If you think they're good, they're bad, they're whatever. But yeah, if you do have any questions regarding the fight or regarding anything, Mistweaver Monk in general, head over to Pika Serenity Discord, and we'll be sure to answer anything we can. So other than that, you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later.